So we're very fortunate to have her. Hillman also happened to be an alumni of Lingnan University, so I think she's definitely someone that we can all look up to. So without further ado, I will give her the mic, and she will tell us a little bit about her journey as an artist, and also hopefully share some of her creative work with you all. So thank you very much.
Good morning. It's not very good, so luckily I have Anthony to help me to translate. I can show some of my works because I love drawing and hiking. So in these years, I love going up to different hills in Hong Kong. Just like I love Tai Mo Shan. Tai Mo Shan is easy to go, and then I can take all my painting tours and go to the Tai Mo Shan and then have some drawings. Firstly, I was devoted by the beautiful scene in Tai Mo Shan, and then I go to different areas in Hong Kong, just like I love Long Yun and wetland. Yeah, we can see many birds, and then the trees, they are beautiful too. And then I go to see the sunset in Naijiwo. It is good. And also I love Dai Dong San, that is Sunset Peak. At the top of Sunset Peak, there is some houses which we can do some drawings, painting, sketching there. And I love the flowers of Hong Kong too, especially the native one. For example, this one is called 大魚白角. That is one of the beautiful flowers with fragrance, which you can find in Lantau Peak and Sunset Peak. And this one is 香港秋海棠. It is some kind of begonia only found in Hong Kong, but not other areas. It is rare and beautiful, so I just try to mark it with my brush and then use my works to write down all the feelings. And then I love those strange flowers, just like this one is called 香港馬兜鈴, the Westland birdwort. And this is rare in Hong Kong, but we can find in Taipo. My mother said it is like a plastic bag, red plastic bag. Yeah, and this is strange because it has some strange smells, a bit stinky. So different kind of flowers, different species give me different kind of feeling, inspiration. And usually I take photos for them and then use the photo as a basic and have a watercolor painting at home. And for one, I usually use 2 days or 3 days to finish one painting. I found there is many interesting stories inside each species. Just like this one is called Ji Gardenia. It is common in Hong Kong. It is one of the 8 most fragrant flowers in China, and it is interesting. You can see the fruits of the Ji. When you open the fruit, there is the seeds, and then the seeds contain pigment. People will use this to, you can see someone pick all the fruits and then put it in the bowl and then boil it. And then when you put some clothes or some silk inside the bowl, you can get a beautiful yellow dye. Yeah.
Just to interrupt, I think this is very interesting. She mentioned this is one of the most fragrant flowers in China. And actually the scientific name of this species is called Gardenia jasminoides. So jasminoides is actually referring to a fragrance. So it actually smells like jasmine. So if you guys ever know, you go to Yamcha, right? You go to a restaurant and you order quarantines. That's the smell that probably referring to this.
I tried to record some of the interesting species. In one book, I And I wrote about 50 articles and then 2 books, 100. And after I finished 2 books, I tried to have another direction because when I find some flowers in Hong Kong, I also can see many interesting animals. Just like when I go up to the hill, I can see 溪蟹, 香港南海溪蟹, this one. In the beginning, I think it is real because you can find at the top of the hill. Yeah, they usually live in the fresh water along the stream. So sometimes they may go to the path and then let me see them. And this one is lovely because it is a mother, and you can see there is some eggs. Yes, and it is small, and the size of the crab is about 5 cm. It has a bright orange color, so we can easy to see it. And we also can see this one is called 變色樹蜥 changeable lizard. Why it is called changeable? Because when the lizard get excited or when it is in breeding season, the color of the lizard will change. And you can see the head of the lizard become very red, 就像鲩魚 cannot translate. Yes. And I use watercolor to draw the lizard. Yeah. Because I love the watercolor because there is some kind of organic feelings. Because when I use the color and add some water, the color just fade, and then I can get the 即係會變化嘅效果。係。好難
I know what
講。
she means is the color changes, it ages with time. So it's something that's hard to create artificially, something that's an organic process.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. And then after a few years, I got 2 books. 尋他 is finding animals, and then recently I have a new book, 尋他第2集. And then I also have a novels about Hong Kong ecology. In a story, there is a ecologist, and he just hide in the mountain and then have his research. In the story, there is many Hong Kong species, just like this one. This, and I mentioned in the novels, I mentioned in the story, I just have some illustrations. Some of the species I mentioned in the novels actually is extinct in Hong Kong now. Yeah, just like some 大靈貓, and then some orchids that is extinct in wild in Hong Kong. And I have new projects in 梅子林. Where is 梅子林? 梅子林is near 沙頭角. That is the mount.
A few different 梅子林in Hong Kong.
Yeah. There are 2 梅子林 in Hong Kong. One is in Mao Shan, and the other one is in 沙頭角. I'm in the 沙頭角one. 沙頭角one. Yeah. And it is quite an old village. It's a remote village. Most of the villages there move out from the village for 50 years. And the houses there, some good, still the condition is okay, but some of them already collapsed. And because of the revitalization, and then we can get some money to make it more beautiful. And then I tried to live there for two months for some wall paintings. This one is the first day I live in the village, and the village is actually all people gone, but just I stayed there for 2 months to have some paintings, and just like I paint those animals I can observe there, just like some teeth, and then there's scarlet winifred. That is 赤紅山椒鳥。赤紅山椒鳥 is very many 赤紅山椒鳥in the village. I have wall painting at daytime, and what can I do in nighttime? And I will go and search different kind of animals, just like some frog, and also I try to walk along the stream to find some plants, and then in the stream I found some begonia, which is quite rare in Hong Kong. So later, and in step 2 of this project, I will plant some rare species, just like this kind of begonia. At nighttime, I can see this masked civet. And then this one is, you can see this is a collapsed house. The ceiling is already collapsed, just remaining two walls. And this is the mother of the civet, and this is the baby. And also, I paint some cattle, and because cattle, they always mentioned by the villagers. Yeah. And then so I tried to paint. The villagers told me that 50 years ago they grow rices. When the rice become mature, and then it is really beautiful. And this is what I done there. Yeah. And this is one of the pictures. And then, but sometimes I see 食膠牛. Yeah. But sometimes many people will make some garbage in the village, so the cattle may eat the plastic. That's not good. So this is 大帽山 from 大帽山. There's still many cattle in Muizhilam, because in front of the village there is a terraced field. Yeah, and Titan, Titan. So many cattle love to lie down and sleep overnight there. I can recommend some books I'm reading. I love to read some old books, and I find that some 甲骨文, ancient writing in Chinese, is interesting. Just like this one, the 甲骨文 of 蛇is just like a 蛇. And then I'm reading another book. It is called 野外香港歲時記 from Horlocks. Yeah. Recently, 2 or 3 years ago, a translator tried to translate it from English into Chinese. 盤玉文. This is good for people to know this ecologists, biologists. And also I love to read Ip Hiu, writer which come from Shanghai to Hong Kong. And after he arrived in Hong Kong, he started write many articles about Hong Kong. The book is called 香港方物子. I find that this is interesting. 香樂師 and 葉靈鳳 are more or less the same time writer. And what they write is sometimes similar but still many differences. For example, in the 野外香港歲時記, the author mostly write about the behavior of the snakes. And then 葉靈鳳 in 香港方物子, he mentioned Chinese love eating snakes. There is
different focus.
Yes, different focus. He said 秋風起三蛇肥. And then I'm reading this one is 湖濱散記 from Solo. It is interesting because the author, when he was 28 years old, he moved beside to the lake and lived for 2 years and 2 months without anything, but just use his hands to build a small house, wooden house, and then live there. And then every day he stayed beside the lake and then mark what he saw and his feeling. Yeah. And then another one is 沙個年紀. He's a biologist, and he and his family moved to an area is called Saguan. It is not a good place because Saguan is a place where the farm is over-cultivated and the soil is not good at all. But the ecologists and the family moved there and they try to plant many trees and try to help this land improve the soil and improve the environment. Yeah.
This is a classic book that every ecologist have read at some point.
Recently, I tried to observe the relationship between the plants and the animals. Just like this one, this one is called Chinese fan palm. It is po kwai. Po kwai is quite common in Hong Kong, especially in some gardens, and you can see many po kwai. And then po kwai is useful because you can see the people may try to dry the leaves of po kwai and then try to make it to a Chinese fan. And this is good. It is interesting that under the po kwai we can see there's some bat. This one is 短吻果蝠, and they will use the leaf and they will bite the leaves and then sleep under the leaves. And so we can see many fruit bats there. And then tree cotton. Tree cotton is also the very common species in the city. It flowers in February, February, March, and then when you can see many interesting part. For some artists, for some scientists, they will try to study the structure of the plants. And then for artists, just like this one is from Lingnan Jiu Xiu Mong. And he tried to use the brush to show the strength and using some brush stroke to show the texture of the tree. And you can see that there is 2 birds. These 2 birds can find in Hong Kong too. This is Heizhe. Yes, should be Heizhe. Mm-hmm. And for layman, in the flowering season of tree cotton, old women sometimes they may pick the fresh flower from have just fallen to the ground and they collected for the herbal tea. Just like 5 flower herbal tea, 五花茶, one of the ingredients of 五花茶, the flowers of tree cotton. And then also have 槐花, 雞蛋花, 金銀花, and 菊花. And then it's interesting that when you visit the park in Hong Kong Island, and you can see some parrot, and just like this one is called 小葵花鳳頭鸚鵡. They love to stay on the tree cotton because the tree cotton produce some nectar. They may try to eat the flowers, so it is quite interesting. Yeah, you can see the turtle on the tree is eating 蛹果. And then this one is critically endangered. But in Hong Kong, there's about 200 turtles living in Hong Kong, living very happily. Just like this one, this one. you can hear the sound, the loud sound of turtle. I take this from Hong Kong Park. They try to use the tree hold to for breathing. So just like they are searching for a place for their home sweet home. And then I found the interesting interrelationship between the plants and the animals, just like this one, and the tree ant, and this one is called turn in the wind. In 中文 it is 白秋. You can see the ants love to stay in the base of the leaf.
There's a pair of glands at the base of the leaf, where the plant is basically paying for protection. So they're paying, their currency is sugar. So the ant would consume the sugar, and in return it provides a service for the plant and protects it from other animals that are trying to eat.
Yes, try to protect the tree by expelling another insect. And so it is interesting. Sometimes I can see 4 or 5 ants stay here just like having parties. And then this one, it is called 粉金龜. It's some kind of beetle, about 5 cm. Because in Wujilam, some terraced field, and then many cattle stay there, and they have many poo-poos, so we can see many 粉金龜. And the 粉金龜love the light, 吹光性. They were attracted by light in the museum. The only house with light, that is the house I live in. About 15 to 20, even 20 beetles, they will come to the house. But they are a bit stupid because next morning they will die because some ants, another insect may attack them. So I was very busy when I see the flip, and I turn them. I become very busy every night. When I go into the wild, and I can see some which is make me very unhappy. It's really sad. For example, when I go along the stream, I can see many cages. There's some trap. What they are trapping is some turtle. 金錢龜 maybe 金錢龜 and also sometimes 大頭龜. This one is called the big head tortoise. So that they may trapped into the cages. I just feeling sad because some of the turtle they may die inside the cage. And then when I go to a new territory, Sa Lo Wan is in Lantau Island, I can see many incense tree walks just broken because they just try to collect the woods from Thổ Chậm Hang. The reason of the Thổ Chậm Hang actually is expensive. And for the orchids is poor in Hong Kong. Yeah, because many one try to collect the orchids illegally, especially for the cymbidium. This one is called Lingnan, and the other one is called Tou Yilan. They are fragrant, they are beautiful, so people may illegally take them away. And therefore, the amount of these plants is dropped rapidly these years. Oh, and I have some new challenge. I will have organic farming in Lai and when I do my wall painting, I start farming in actually. This one you can see. This one is potatoes, and then this one is pumpkin, the season of pumpkin. And then in Museum, I tried to grow some vegetable for myself, and then it is quite successful. You can see Chao Kuai is grow well, and then have cucumber and eggplants. And then I try to grow some lily bugs, and then we can take the lychee fruit to make the wine and share with the other villagers. And then recently I plant many radish. This one I have 300 根. I just
300 caddies. So
yeah.
radish.
Yes, radish. So what can I do? The only choice I can do is to make radish cake. We make the radish cake for a week and sold 100. So this is some new challenges. I'm having a new field too. So I want to plant some mulberry, mulberry, and then I want to grow some fake, 嗰啲無花果. But both of the species may be destroyed by this one. This one is called long horn beetle. You can see the Tinao. They love eating fake trees and then the mulberry. So I catch every day.
What do you do to them? Do you just crush them?
No, I want to 整標本.
She's making her own beetle collection.
Yeah, I may organize some workshop to make a 標本. And this is the conflict between human and nature because in Lai Chi all the farmers will do the farming in organic. Yeah, so many conflicts I have great challenge. Yeah, and so.
Okay, well, thank you very much for human, and I guess we still have a little bit of time left. So, is there any questions that you guys would like to ask? Now would be a good time. So I have a question. How did you learn to draw so beautifully?
I have no teacher.
So you taught yourself how to draw.
Yeah. But I think the most important is being patient because you have to use 2 days for one paintings. You try to observe the photos and then try to use your brush to make it detailed, to draw the details.
Very cool. I have no artistic talent, so it's very difficult to draw. So what do you like more? Do you like writing more, or do you like drawing?
Both are important to me because drawing is relatively easy for me. Yeah, because when you write some articles, you have to do many research, and then you try to read the ancient books and Roman, and you have to study some scientific books. Yeah, it is quite yes complicated.
More challenging.
Yes, more challenging.
Okay. What about you guys? Do you guys have any questions? Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I will stop the class now. And please join me in thanking Human coming in to give us this guest lecture and also giving you guys a lot of spare time for the rest of the day. So thank you very much, Human. Thank you. And thank you guys for